You are being orally assaulted and digitally manipulated by PunkTv.ca, web television for fans of modern rock.
Yes! Give it to me.
All right, I'm Dixon Christie here from PunkTv.ca. We have the dubious honor of sitting here with Mr. Fernando Saunders, of course, a bass player for many, many bands and for many, many years, but not that many. To name a few, Lou Reed, Jeff Beck, Marianne Faithful.
Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Jimmy Page, Salt and Pepper, a lot of different, Hamilton Bohannon, a lot of different types.
Wow.
Joan Baez. Folk music.
Yeah, so you've completely done the whole gamut of different genres, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? I mean, obviously you've been with so many different bands, and there must be a certain style or genre that is most appealing to you.
Wow, that's hard to say, because what happened out of all that, I decided with my own music, that's how I put it all together into it. But I do like more open music. If I'm honest, more music that's not have to be so trendy, more kind of rock, folk, jazz, that kind of direction, more pure.
Yeah. And what's your name again? Sorry. Derek Nakamoto. Okay, so I'm just going to transition to this, and I'll say, and of course on my left here we're joined by Mr. Derek Nakamoto. And of course, on my left here, we're joined by Mr. Derek Nakamoto, who is on tour with Fernando playing keyboards. Hello, Derek.
Hello.
All right, so we obviously some of these bands over the years have had an influence for you.
Yeah.
Which musician have you learned the most from?
If I said, I would say I would say Jan Hammer. And I learned a lot from Lou Reed, from his simplicity, actually, from Jan Hammer. Actually, I would have to say three in there: Jan Hammer, Hamilton Bohannon, and Lou Reed. Yeah.
Lou Reed.
Three different directions too, musically. Those three people.
Absolutely, and Lou Reed has always professed to, try to avoid musicianship at all costs. Mm-hmm. He seemed to hate the whole idea of the technical aspect of it. Is that accurate?
Not exactly. He's when you work. I've never met someone that's so into detail in my life. Actually, he's knowing all the names of the microphones he has in his computer, and if you notice, he's not like Eddie Van Halen or an amazing guitar player, but he has his own style, and there's a simplicity in there. But he does surround him. He is smart to surround himself around always great musicians. If you look and see it, so he's very, very aware. We were just talking about just now. That he's into Jimmy Scott and people like that. A lot of rock people don't even know who that is. I didn't know who he was, and I'm from a variety of music. I didn't know who Jimmy Scott was, and he turned me on to that world. And Aaron Neville, right. So he's really listening. So it's a little bit. It sounds like because he keeps it. He wants to keep it raw, and I think is Lou. And if you put anything around Lou, it doesn't matter what it is. It's going to stay raw. Once his voice comes in there and his guitar playing, you can't right. It's going to have that edge. So it makes people feel that, but the support group is really important to him. Is for all of us, even for me, it's really important. I have people around me. Plus, he helped me. He had a lot to do with my vocal work too. He said you really should start singing too. He has a lot to do. He actually pushed me towards this direction. Yeah. So.
And that, of course, would help you to find. That's like Joe Satriani, for example, mm-hmm. Someone of exemplary talent. And a noted musician around the world, really had to find his own voice, didn't he, in order to be able to expand himself outside of just being an incredible virtuosic guitar.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do because you're doing all these things and you got to figure out how to step out on your own, and it takes some time because when I first came out myself, I was singing, but I was singing behind the music would be up front. I was afraid. So now it's the opposite. Now I don't really care who's there. I was sing without band now, but it's important for me to keep. I just want to show through what I'm doing. I want to keep the music commercial to a certain level, but creative. And with that, that's how you can start with using that kind of idea. To me, that was a vehicle of drawing people into music. Because once you have them at your concert, then you have your kind of pop formula or whatever. But then you can say, this is what's happening too. These guys can play. We're going to jam for a while. And then you start realizing the audience never heard anything like this. And they, even with Lou and many people, Marianne Faith, all these people, they do the same thing, even though their stuff is already left anyway. But my approach is, I really want to keep the music alive if I can help and to keep the young kids to want to play music. Because if they start, everyone is sitting behind a computer, which is okay, but then it's going to be over with, And it's like, as we see what happened with CD sales and everything else, it's getting really sad, So.
It becomes a convenience at first, and then it becomes overkill on the market. And actually, keyboards are quite the same way. It started in the 80s with the advent of samplers and like the Mirage, and I think before that was the Emax, and now you've gone from, I think my first Mirage had like 2 seconds of sampling time on it, and now you can buy a Giga Sampler, which is software that comes with like 10,000 samples on it, and you can sample for hours and hours and hours. Technology's really evolved, hasn't it?
It's evolved. It's going to turn music into a whole nother thing. Because it kind of got to a point where anybody can just hit a play button and make a song. But there's a lot more to it than that. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about where music is going. People now it's been, samplers are out for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's evolving into its own art form, and people are doing really amazing things with it. But it's coming back around to like artists like Fernando, guys who can really play and can really create something.
That's the important thing, isn't it? To stay true to your foundation, I guess,
Right.
and
finding your own voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's just a machine, everybody's using the same sample, but it's how you're using it, making your own voice with it. That's the trick.
That's right. We said that's true too. But that's why when you see a band, when I'm playing, and I've noticed people they're glad to hear something that's real. And because I'm playing these concerts, that's why you see all these older guys. Anyone over 60 is famous again now because they still playing music. I'm not 60 yet, but anyway, I'm watching these people like Larry Anderson, Joan Baez, or whoever, Aaron Neville. They have a fresh new career because they're doing something. Even the kids, which is really funny, they're going back because I'm noticing you see kids with iPods. I went to my friend's house. The iPods are all on the floor now. It's not even like a sighting anymore. It's like this happened. So so they're and what's happening with us, we're as older artists, we're the ones who are pushing technology. We want to make it easier, but the kids we're selling our Wellersers and our old Fender Roses, and the kids are buying that and bringing it back in style again because they looking for something new too. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh yeah,
you see a band like the Wildflowers is a rose, Fender Rose, and an organ, right?
Yeah. We've been talking about actually the resurgence of vinyl again.
Yeah.
Vinyl has come back, and people are realizing that MP3s really don't sound that great compared to the warmth and the safety of old vinyl recordings.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
People's ears have been conditioned to things coming straight out of a computer, so they don't really hear the full fidelity. But once they pop it on a nice sounding stereo system, and they put a vinyl record on compared to the MP3, it's like, oh man, what's that? It's
I see
different.
kids I'm in Switzerland a lot, and I see the kids on a lot of them now, half of them now have just a regular CD player. They don't have their iPod and huge headphones because they know the difference.
Yeah.
They really want it.
So it's no longer unfashionable.
And when your world is torn in many places, you laugh and cry yourself to sleep. When all your friends turn to empty faces, pick up the pieces that you keep. I'll be waiting in the wings, my love.
Rock! Watch PunkTv.ca for all the best modern rock videos and interviews.